Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel and my craft table, and welcome if you're new. So excited to have you here with me today. Today's video, I want to show you how to make some stickers. If you have been around on my channel for any length of time, you know that whenever I make a Cricut or a handmade card, that I put these Kiss Cut stickers on the back of my cards. And I am close to running out, so I need to make some more. And then I thought it would be fun to make some that are not just my logo, but are very seasonal or occasion oriented. And I thought that would be fun to show you how to do that. The materials I'm going to be using for the project are some sticker paper. Now I will tell you, normally the stickers I make, I just use the Cricut printable sticker paper. It is a paper-based front, as you saw here. I'm out. So I don't have any more and I cannot really show you that, but I do have plenty of videos on stickers and I will link that playlist in the description. I absolutely love the Cricut printable sticker paper. I haven't tried other brands, so I don't know how those compare. But when I was looking in my stash and I was double checking, like, why don't I have any more Cricut sticker paper? I have the waterproof and I don't want to use that for my stickers on my cards. I remembered that I had this. Now this is a little bit different kind of sticker paper. This is from A-Sub, and in the summer they had sent me over some materials to test out, and I forgot they had sent me this. I had never used this yet, so I thought, why not just go ahead and make the stickers I need using this new material. Now the difference is, this is vinyl sticker paper. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so the vinyl sticker paper, it has a paper backing, just like the Cricut one does. However, the front is glossy, and this is like a vinyl. I can actually weed, I can pull up the corner with my weeding tool. All right. The Cricut sticker paper, the regular sticker paper, it's paper based on the front and on the back. And I just like that. I like the matte look of it. So I thought we would try out some of these, and they're going to be a little glossy, and that's fine. So this is a different material, and I want to compare it to this because this might be something I moved to. I'm not sure, but I wanted you to see what I'm using. So I have that. I'm going to be using my Cricut Joy Extra, which I have right here off to the side. So I have some standard grip mats. I have my brayer, and I think that's all I need for the moment as far as materials are concerned. Okay, now full disclosure, this is actually the second time I have made this video for you. Yesterday when I made this video, I did 5 sheets of stickers and I used up the last of my Cricut sticker paper, and I did a little bit of the A-Sub, and some of them worked really, really well and some of them did not. And I'll tell you why. I was so excited and really, honestly, I was in a hurry that I did not calibrate my machine. And I actually don't do it too often because I do a lot of print then cut. And I just kind of forgot to, go through that motion. And this is what happened. And this has actually really not happened to me in an extremely long time. But I have 2 sticker papers that have to go in the trash because the circles are not where they need to be. And in fact, on this one, it cut out these tiny little pieces that aren't even stickers. So I'm kind of not sure, really. I think this one might have moved on the mat. But then this one here, there's no reason this one should not have worked. But you can see that it did not cut them correctly. So I was trying to decide what to do. I thought about not even showing you this piece, that these things happen. Everybody needs to see what to do when your project doesn't work out. So that's what we're going to start with today. Here it is. My project did not start out, and these are going to go in the bin. So we're going to go ahead and calibrate my Cricut Joy Extra and then run the stickers one more time. All right, I am going to bring in my laptop. for you so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And I just want to show you kind of what I'm doing to get the calibration going. All right, so when you have Cricut Design Space open, you are going to go ahead and click on your name. You will go to Settings, and then this will come up. Next, you will go to Machines, and you'll see right here in number 2, it says Machine Calibration. So I'm going to click on that. And then it says get the most accurate cuts for Print Then Cut, and you click the green button. And then it will tell you to choose a printer. I have already printed the calibration sheet, so I'm not going to reprint it. But this is what you would do if you had not printed the sheet already. Okay, so I have a calibration sheet, and I'm going to click Continue. So once it's printed, then you'll get this. So you click Continue. And next it will tell you how to place it on your mat. So you're going to place it in the top left corner of your mat and then click Continue again. So let me grab my mat. Okay, so I have my mat here and I have my calibration paper, and it's going to go right up here in the top left corner. And I'm going to make sure it lines up nicely along the top and the side. Okay, and what this is a series of lines here. They are numbered. These are lettered. It's got a large box here, a large box around the whole thing, and then a small box in the middle. And what's going to happen is it's going to prompt me to put this in the machine, and we're going to go through and it will cut things, and then we'll look and see like exactly what kind of cut is this doing to make sure that this is calibrated. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in my Joy Extra. Okay, and got this ready to go. Okay, so back to my laptop here, I'm going to click Continue. Okay, and then it wants you to prepare your machine, so it will always tell you how to do things. Fine point blade is loaded. I'm going to insert the mat and load it under those guides on the side. All right, so now that this is loaded, I'm going to go back to my computer screen, and it says to start calibration, click go. So I will do that. So what it is going to do right now is it's going to double check these corners, these registration marks. You can see that with the little light in there if you were to look at your machine. It's going to do that in all 4 corners. Okay, so what it did right now is it just cut around this small box. And what it'll ask you to do is just kind of look at it and see if it is fairly well in the middle. Okay, and it's pretty well in the middle, and this is the difference. This is what I'm talking about right here. So the green check mark side, it is a little off center right here, but here it is very off center. So we want to make sure that it's as close to perfect as possible. And then we click Yes, proceed to fine calibration. And then we will do Continue. So what the machine is doing now is it is going through and it is just cutting a line on each of these numbered lines, and then it'll do the same thing here along the lettered lines. And then we will be choosing the 2 that are the most accurate. All right, so now it's going to ask me right here along the top line. It wants me to choose the one where the line that it cuts is pretty much in the middle of the printed line. So I'm going to be choosing one along the top and one along the right-hand side. So I'm going to look for those. Okay, so I think number 9 is the closest. So I'm just going to kind of mark that real quick. I think that is the closest to the very middle. And then if I look along here, it looks like K is the winner. Like it's pretty much right in the middle. J and K are, I mean, they're really microscopically the same. And here 8 and 9 are, you know, microscopically the same. So I'm choosing the one that does look the best to my eye. So then I go back to my screen and we're going to choose line number 9. And then we're going to choose line number K, double checking. And I click continue. So now it is going to cut around the bigger square in the middle. Okay, and then I'm gonna I like to run my finger around it. I mean, you can see the line. This is a perfect cut around this big square here. So yes is close enough to center, and click continue. And now I can unload. Okay, if at any time you decide that it's not doing what you want, you can select no on these selections, and then it will give you instructions on kind of recalibrating your machine. I'm gonna close that for a second. Now this was a strong grip mat, and I did put paper on it. So I'm gonna have to peel this away. I would probably say, don't be like me. Be someone who calibrates your machine fairly regularly. Maybe even put a reminder in your phone or your calendar to do it, you know, once every couple of weeks or something. So I think from now on, I will be doing this at least once a month, if not more. It doesn't take any time at all, and it's well worth it. All right, so now that my machine is calibrated and we've talked about the supplies, let me take you into Design Space and I'll show you how I designed and prepared all of these stickers so that they could be printed out on the sheets and then cut accurately with the Cricut. Okay, so here I am in Design Space and I'm super excited to show you how I made my stickers. Now I am going to show you how I made my stickers prior to the current Cricut update that allows you to use basically a template, so to speak, for stickers and labels. I will be doing a tutorial on this another day. So with that being said, let's go over to my stuff, and I'm going to pull up my previous file here. This is a file that I used to make the stickers to begin with. And I'm going to go ahead and open that file. Okay, so my project has been pulled up and I just want to show you a couple of things. So these are the sticker sheets that you will see here in the project in just a little bit that we will be cutting, but I want to show you how I made them. So the first thing I want to do is I want to turn on this weld result right here. Now I made this a while back, and this is a template that I use for Print Then Cut. I know that some of the updates in Design Space have created templates like this, so that is a huge game changer. But in the meantime, I had created my own. All right, so you can see here that I have a complete page of my logo stickers. I'm not going to bore you with the logo stickers because, quite frankly, it's the same process that I'm going to be using for the birthday ones and the occasion ones that you see there. So I'm going to move this over out of the way, and I'm going to move this seasonal one out of the way. I'm just going to put them over there. Okay, so I have the logo stickers hid because there's no need for me to show you that because it will bore you and the process is the same. Let's work on making some seasonal and all occasion stickers for the back of our cards. So you can see here, I've got some images, and then above and below, I have my name, Jenni Lynn Handcrafted, and then I have a little image in the middle. So what I need to do first is I need to grab a circle. Okay, I'm going to collapse this menu, and I'm actually going to collapse my layers panel. I don't know if you know you could do this now, but you can collapse the layers panel. And if you want it back, you just click that little button right there. Okay, I'm going to collapse that. I'm just going to move this over here for right now. And then I'm going to zoom in for my circle. Let's change the circle to white. So I'm going to go up to the color selector and hit white. Then I want to resize my circle. So I'll select it, I'm going to come over here to my proportions, and I'm just going to replace the 2 with a 1 and hit my tab key. I need to create the Jenni Lynn Handcrafted that you see that kind of goes around the circle, like the top and the bottom. I am going to need to zoom in again because we made our circle small. All right, let's go to text. Bring that up over here. I'll double click and I will type in Jenni Lynn. And now I'm going to make that really small. So I have to click and drag. I'm going to make that pretty small. And then I'm going to kind of bring it in over here. So it's definitely within the width of the circle. So that's great. Since I already resized that, I'm going to duplicate that. And then I'm going to double click on Jenni Lynn. And I'm going to type Handcrafted. All right, so now I have my 2 words that I need to go at the top and the bottom of my circle. Okay, let's click on Jenni Lynn, and then I want to come up here to the font menu, and I'm going to click on the font menu. And let's see, let's go to recent or bookmarked. I can't remember where I put it. That's what it looks like, BFC Fashion Statement. And then I will click on Handcrafted. And when I click on Handcrafted, I can then select BFC Fashion Statement. Now what I want to do is I want to go to Edit. So Handcrafted is still selected. I'm going to scroll all the way down here until I see Curve. Click on Curve. And Handcrafted is going to be at the bottom of the circle. So I want what I call the smiley, right? So I'm going to just click and drag. And I want to go kind of slow because you can see my Cricut design space is thinking. And I want it to curve, but I don't want it to be too curved. And I actually might even make my font a little smaller. So now let's move this into position. I'm kind of move it about right there. And I do think that font is a little too big. So let's see if I can come here. I'm going to scroll up a little bit and go to Font Tools right here. And I'm going to just click on the font. And I want to make it smaller. I might end up having to fix the curve, and that will be okay. All right, I'm going to take it down to 11. All right, and you can see that it doesn't, like you can look at it now, and it doesn't quite look like it should. It's a little too curved. So now I'm just going to come here to curve one more time. And then I want to move it up a little bit and maybe a little bit more. You can also just type in a value here. You can kind of guesstimate where you want it. Like this, I would just click there and then I could get rid of the 1 and put a 30 and then hit my tab key. Okay, so I think, let me click off of this for a second. Okay, I think that looks great. So I'm going to bring down the Handcrafted to the bottom, and you'll notice that those pink lines, see those pink lines, right? They tell you when things are centered. Okay, I love that new feature. So there's Handcrafted. Now I'm going to come up here to Jenni Lynn. Now I'm going to try and be a little bit smarter about this. I am going to take my font down to 11. Now that I know Handcrafted was at 11, let's see, Jenni Lynn is now at 11. And I want to bring Jenni Lynn about right here. Okay, that may be needing to move in a minute, but that's okay. Go back here to curve. And this time I want what I call the rainbow. So now I had -30 before. Let's go ahead and type in +30 on this side. And then I'll hit my tab key. All right, and then let's just take a look and see. All right, I think that is a great size. Now what I want to do is select all of those 3 things. And since I'm in the edit menu, I can do it over here, or I could do it here from the 3 dots. But I want to go to align, and I want to do center horizontally. And that's going to shift everything into the middle. Select everything, and then I want to hit group. All right, perfect. Okay, now we want to add some images. Okay, but I'm going to need several of these. So I'm going to go here to duplicate, and I'm going to hit that button 4 times. Okay, so we have one for birthday, one for love letter, one for spring flowers, one for rainbows, and one for the patriotic sunflower. Now go ahead and collapse that. Next, I want to go to images. All right, and I am going to click on bookmarked. Okay, and you can see once I have everything saved in my bookmarks, a lot of times they will just come right up. So let's go ahead and add the happy birthday. And these are going to come in kind of big, but that's okay. Let's add the love letter, the spring flower, the summer rainbow, and the patriotic sunflower. Okay, collapse that menu. And then you see I have all of these and they're pretty ginormous. So I'm going to select and grab all of them. And then I'm going to come up here to my width and I'm going to size them down to about 1 inch. So I'm going to click on the width and I'm going to hit 1 and I'm going to hit tab, and then it's going to change everything. And it'll take a moment to do that. Okay, so let's see where our sizing is. We have our patriotic sunflower. That's not bad. I might leave it just like that, or I guess I could take that down just a little bit. So I'm going to select it and I'm going to click on the width. And then we have our rainbow. I'm going to move that up in here. That is definitely a little bit too big. So I'm going to change that. Okay, that's still probably a little too big. Let me do it this way, make it, there we go. That was a little faster. Then let's see, the next one that it grabs, spring flowers. That one is actually good. I'm not going to resize that one. Then we have our birthday cake. That one's pretty good. I'm not going to resize that one. Let's bring our love letters up. And yes, that one needs to be resized. So we're going to resize that down. So there are all of my stickers. So here's what I want to do. I want to go through each one of them and select both of them. I want to click on more. I want to go to align and I want to go to center. Okay, and see what it does. Now Cricut Design Space chose to move that birthday cake a little bit too far down for my liking. So I'm just arrowing up. There we go. I am going to click on more right here. I'm going to go down to flatten. And that is going to flatten my image. It is now one layer. So for this one here, same thing. I'm going to select everything, click on more, click on align, and go to center. And that's okay. I think the envelopes, well, the envelopes probably could go up just ever so slightly. So select all of it, click on more, click on align. Oh, nope, don't want to click on align. I already did that. Go to flatten. Okay, there's my second sticker. And then same thing here. Now I think that one is fine. I'm actually just going to flatten that one. Okay. So here are all of my stickers. And then we need to bring this template back in. Okay, so like I said earlier, I'm not going to take the time to recreate a full page of birthday and a full page of all occasion. I'm basically just showing you how I made them. But let's pretend that these are all of the ones that I want on a single sheet. You can see here, I've got about 6 of them across the top. I can click on duplicate. Okay, and then once I have about 6 stickers, I'm going to bring these up to, okay, we're going to put one right there, and one right there. Now I'm going to bring the rest of these over because I want to show you a really cool trick. Okay, how many do I have? It looks like I have 7, and I don't need 7, so I'm going to move this one back out of the way. But I am going to hold down my shift key and I'm going to select all of these stickers. Okay, now I'm going to go to more I'm going to go to Align, and I want to do Align Top. I have the one on the left where I want it. I'm going to bring the one to the right where I want it. And for right now, I'm just going to move this template out of the way. That will allow me to grab all of these. Then I want to go to More, and I want to go to Align, and I want to do Distribute Horizontally. Now that separates them where they're even spacing. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and duplicate that. I'm going to move that section that I just duplicated out of the way. Then I'll go back to these original 6, select them all, and attach. Okay, once I have them all attached, I can bring them right back here to my template. I am going to go ahead and get a 7th. I want to put 1 sticker here. I want to put 1 sticker here. I'm going to grab the rest. Okay, I'm going to bring them over. I'm just going to put them right there for right now. And then I'm going to hit Shift, and I'm going to grab that one in that corner and that one in that corner. Go to More, go to Align, Align Top. I'm going to go to More and Align and Distribute Horizontally. And then you can see where these actually look like they look really close together. I am going to move my template out of the way for just a moment. I am going to grab all of these stickers, and I'm actually going to make them smaller. Okay, so I think maybe 1 inch is a little big. Okay, so we'll just move them down a little bit. All right, now I'm going to bring my template back over, and I know for a fact, like this one here, I'm going to leave these 2 kind of where they're at, right? Now this one I need to detach, and then I will move this guy over here, and then I will click my Shift key, and I will just start adding sticker after sticker, and then I will click on More and Align and Distribute Horizontally. Now there's a little more space that looks so much better. Click Attach. I'm going to do the same thing with the second row. Bring that second row down just a smidge, I think. Okay, so I have one selected, hit Shift, and then I'm going to systematically click all of the rest. Okay, click on More, click on Align, Distribute Horizontally, and those look a little bit better. And I could probably move my outer one on both sides just a fraction more, and I can repeat that process. So More and Align, Distribute Horizontally. That's definitely better. I also want to align them to the top. It's just a preference of mine. You could leave them. Okay, those look great. Now I did forget to attach this entire row right here. So I'll select that and I will click Attach. And then now I have 2 rows of stickers. Okay, so basically this is the process that I repeated. I duplicated each sticker the number of times that I thought I might want to use it. So for these other ones, I actually made it pretty easy. I decided that I wanted way more flowers and rainbows. So I'll duplicate the flower. I'm going to duplicate the rainbow. And so I'm going to grab all of these. I'm going to go to More, Align, Distribute Horizontally, More, click on More, Align, and Align Top. Okay, those look pretty good. Let's bring them all down here and see how they stack up. And I think they look pretty good. Let me bring in each end just a little bit. Now notice I haven't resized these. Okay, these are the same size as I had a minute ago. Okay, move this out of the way. Grab all of them. Back to More, back to Align, Distribute Horizontally, and Attach. Bring that back in. Okay, so I made a whole sheet of the birthday stickers the way I just showed you, and I just duplicated this row right here. Okay, you can see how many I duplicated, and then I duplicated the top row for the bottom. you can just click on a row and you just duplicate. So once you get the row sized and spaced the way you want it, you just duplicate that row. I'm going to click on the top row and duplicate that one. Then I will bring that way down here and just let that hang out right where it is. And then these other rows, I'm going to click on one, hold down my Shift key, and click each row one at a time. Then I'm going to go to the More. I'm going to go to Align. This time I'm going to do Distribute Vertically. Spaces them all out. Next, I'm going to click on that template, move it out of the way. And my last step is to select everything that I just created. Okay, once all of those are selected, I will go ahead and click Attach. All right, let me zoom back out. This is how I made my sheets of stickers. I got the first row set. I got the second row set. Then I just duplicated the first row and brought it to the bottom of the template. I got the second row set, and then I duplicated it several times. And then I did the middle section here. I just did a distribute vertically so I could make sure everything was nice and neat. And then I grabbed everything. So now I have this sticker sheet here. So now I'm going to click on my layers panel. Now the only thing that has a warning is my template. I'm going to go ahead and hide that. And none of these seem to have any warning. Right, I'm going to go ahead and click on Make. Okay, now that it's come up on the Make screen, you can see here that my template is effective and basically it sits right inside the cuttable area of the Print Then Cut screen. I am going to just double check. They all say Print Then Cut. Great. So then I'm going to click on Continue. Then I will go to Send to Printer. I will click on Next. I will find my printer. I will turn the bleed off and I will do Use System Dialog and I will hit Print. So you'll notice I'm not connected to my Joy. I'm actually downstairs for right now. So normally what I would do is click Continue. Then I would select my material, which would be printable vinyl. Then I would load the mat in, let it read it. Then I would click Go and allow it to do the Print Then Cut. I'm going to meet you back over at the craft table and we're going to finish working with our stickers. All right, I have all of my stickers printed out. They look great. Now, because this is glossy, and I did use the glossy photo paper, I do like to give it a minute before I handle it. That's just me. I guess it'll depend on what material you're using. And then I've got the logo stickers already on a mat. I've got the happy birthday stickers already on a mat. And I only have 2 green ones. Now this one here, I want to show you. My printer lately has been giving me fits, and I think either it needs to be really cleaned or it might be on its last leg. So you'll notice that like right here, there's a white margin at the top of the paper, like you're expecting to see. And then here it is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a piece of white, copy paper, and I'm going to put it on the top of the mat, and I'm going to lay this down in the same place where it would normally be, and then it'll be fine. So I'm not even really going to worry about that, and I'm not going to print a new one. I'm just going to make this one work. So what I'm going to do now is one by one, I'm going to put these into the Cricut Joy Extra. So just as a reminder, let's see, we've got this printed. Our base material, because it is glossy, I'm going to use printable waterproof sticker paper, the white, and that's because it has this glossy sheen to it. I'm just going to leave it at default pressure. And then for each of these, I will put these into the Joy Extra and follow the prompts on the screen. And I'm going to get all of these cut out. All right, all of my stickers are cut out. So now I can show you how they came out. I'm going to talk about this one in just a second. These came out great. So if I show you these, see, they're super glossy and pretty, but you can see where the circles are right where they need to be. And same thing with this one. So these came out super great. This one, I actually had to pause and unload and reload. I don't know what I did. I had it on the mat. I think I got my mat like off kilter like this because it had started to not do correctly. And I was like, no, we're not going there. So I paused and I took this off and I went ahead and did these two. And then I went back to this one. I used a different mat. I don't know why. The first one worked fine. So, but when I ran it again, it looks great. So, you know, things happen. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get these off. Now these along the top, they are very well cut. So now the Cricut Joy Extra, kind of by default, it does a kiss cut. So these, I will be taking off this top piece, but down here, this will be like my other ones, and you can see where it just peels up. Okay, and this is vinyl sticker paper. It's a little bit thinner, so you can feel like through here. You're like, wow, it almost went through, but not quite. And then we've got the ones that are the holiday, like spring and summer. Okay, so there's those. And then I have these. These are just the birthday ones. I make a ton of birthday cards, like a ton. So every month I send out a bunch of birthday cards to active duty and veterans. And these are great for that. So they just kind of go on the back and they're festive and it's fun and I love it. Okay, so ultimately these came out really well. I think if I were to do this again with this particular material, I might try less pressure. I did default pressure. So default pressure, it doesn't cut all the way through. It is kiss cut, but you can kind of see here on the back where a couple of them, you know, it did cut a little bit all the way through. Same thing up here. Not a big deal because I actually cut these down anyway. I'm going to take a moment to show you how I cut these down. Okay. So what I do is I just put this in my paper trimmer here, and I just go row by row. And if I think that it might, like this bottom row definitely is not good for the paper cutter because it's kind of offset. But here in this middle part, okay, so what I would do is I would cut the rows apart just like this. And again, I'm just making sure that I'm not going to cut into my circle. And when I have a strip, then I stick it through here and I just start cutting them down. And then they just sit in my little jar. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And get this one. I don't need that little piece. And there we go. So that's how I cut them apart. And then of course I just store them here in this jar. So I will be doing that here off camera later. Okay, I have all of my stickers, you know, cut out. They're in these little pockets here. So just kind of take them apart, put them in here. So this is like a set I've already had. Then the others, for right now, I literally have just taken all of the ones I just created. So the happy birthday ones, most of the ones in here are happy birthday. And I just have them in this little bitty bag right here that I made not too long ago. This was a beginner Cricut craft that I made a couple of weeks ago. I can link that video for you if you like. I do have the spring and the little 4th of July, some of the heart ones. Basically, I just kind of threw them all in here because I can just reach for this, and I just keep it right up here off to the side. And I keep this with my mailing station. So let me show you my mailing station, and I also have a little surprise for you. Okay, this is my mailing station. So it's just a little box. Actually, my husband 3D printed this, but this is just a little box. You could get any fridge bin. You could get the little boxes. They look like shoe boxes, but they're for pictures. You can get them at Hobby Lobby and Michael's, you know, the pretty ones. But I just keep all of my mailing stuff in here. So typically, I will just keep these in here. In this little basket or this little bin, I also have stamps, and I do want to talk to you about stamps. I also have my mailing scale, and then I have a variety of envelopes. So I have my A2 envelopes. This is a little bit bigger. I've got some stuff for 5x7. I have my slimline envelopes that are right here. And then I have these big manila ones for when I want to send off like a pack of cards, or I'm mailing something that is a little more substantial. I don't keep any rigid or bubble mailers in here. Those are just kept separate somewhere else. But this is super handy because I can just take this all to a little spot where I'm at. I can address everything. I've got all of my mailing stuff ready to go. And then in the event that I forgot to put a sticker on the back of a card, I have these right here, and I can just put them on the card. All right, so that is my mailing station, and I do encourage you to make something like that for yourself. Okay, so now we've talked about the mailing bin. Let's talk about stamps. Okay, so I have this little envelope here, and this little envelope pretty much resides here in my mailing bin. And I've got in it just, you know, my regular everyday stamps. And when I get down to about one of these, or at least half of one, I go and get a whole bunch more. And I just have it in this little envelope, and it sits here in my bin. These stamps here, these are so beautiful. These are the non-machinable stamps. Now each one of these is about $1.27. What this does is this stamp right here will cover the postage for a letter that is less than 1/4 inch thick and up to 1 ounce. Okay, I won't need any additional postage, but this will be hand canceled. So my letter that has this particular butterfly, it will not go through the post office machinery. So it will be hand processed the entire way to my recipient. And I keep a lot of these on hand because I also test my envelopes to see if they need to have something like this versus something like this for postage. So let me go ahead and show you 2 things that I have for you. These are your little presents, and they are free for you. So I'm going to go ahead and show those to you. And I have a variety of cards here that I want to talk about to give you some examples. So I have right here this cardstock. This is 80-pound cardstock. I did a print then cut with my Cricut. So I made this, and I have a rectangular slit right here. And this is about 6.5 wide by 1/4 inch thick right here. And the reason why I have that is because the maximum thickness of a letter is 1/4 inch. So I'm not worried about postcards, and I'm not worried about large envelopes. But what I like to do, and I'll take one of these thick ones that I'm going to talk about here in a minute, is I like to take this and I stick it through the slot. And as long as it moves freely through that slot, then I know that I am within the limitations of that 1/4 inch thick. So this is really important. Now you can purchase these on Amazon. They're kind of pricey if you ask me. I'm just going to laminate this. I'm going to keep this in my postal bin right here. And again, I just made this with my Cricut using some information that I got off of the USPS website. And I'm going to let you have the link. I'm going to link this down in my description so you can do print then cut. You can make one of these for yourself. I would suggest laminating it for longevity. If you don't have a laminator, you could always use like packing tape and go over the front and the back. And then you could take your craft knife and go around the perimeter to get all the excess off, and you could then cut out the tape that is in this slot area. Okay, so this is one freebie. Down in the description is the link, so you can go into your Cricut and make your own. Okay, so the other freebie I have for you is this page right here. So I created this because I often see online a lot of people asking questions about what kind of postage do they need for their cards that they're making. So this has all of the info that you need based on, I mail tons of cards every single month, and I'm on really good first name basis with my postal workers at my local post office. And they are always impressed that I always know exactly how much postage needs to go on each letter. And also, I got all of this off of the USPS website. So that's my little disclaimer down here, that the info was compiled from the USPS website. Please make sure that you check with your local post office just in case there's any changes to policies or prices. So, you know, this is something that could change in the future, but this is the current information as I know it today in March 2026. And so what I have up here is just the thicknesses and the dimensions that are allowable for postcards, letters, and large envelopes. So that's right there. Here in the middle, this is actually the most important part. So postcards are typically 61 cents each to mail. Large envelopes, so things like this right here, or even bigger ones, those are a little more expensive. So 1 ounce or less, $1.63. Each additional ounce is about 27 cents. And anything that is like, if you make one of these super heavy and rigid, if it's not bendable, if it's bumpy, you're going to be paying parcel prices. Okay, but I want to talk about what's here in this middle part. Now, letters. So letters have to be less than 1/4 inch thick. In other words, they have to go through that slot really easily. It can't be something where you're like trying to push it through the slot and make it work. It has to work on its own, and it cannot be rigid. It must be bendable, and it has to be rectangular. It cannot be square. And I'm going to talk about those in just a second. But what I have here is, if it is 1 ounce or less, then one regular stamp, just the regular old stamp, is sufficient, okay? And stamps as of today are about 78 cents, and I'm pretty sure they'll go up again before too long. If the letter is over 1 ounce, up to 2 ounces, well, that's an additional 29 cents, so that would be $1.07 if you were to go up to the counter and mail it. 2 to 3 ounces is another 29 cents for a total of $1.36. And 3 to 3.5 ounces is another 29 cents for a total of $1.65. These last 3 categories here, so anything over 1 ounce, all the way up to 3.5 ounces, you can actually use 2 stamps, the regular ones, okay? So this will cover all 3 of these. Now, if you're mailing a 1.5 ounce and you use 2 stamps, you don't get change back from the post office. Like you are using 2 stamps. They're 78 cents a piece, so that's like $1.56, I believe. And if you were to go to the counter, it'd be $1.36. I personally, if I don't have time, I just throw 2 stamps on, throw it in the mailbox, and call it a day. If you're someone that wants to, you work with exact figures, you could go into your counter at the post office and just pay for a stamp that they print out and put on your envelope right there. But anything over 1 ounce up to 3.5 ounces, 2 stamps will work. And then we get to the part where, well, what if it is, you know, rigid? What if it is bumpy? What if it is square? What if it's delicate and I'm worried that the equipment might eat it up and I want it to be safer? So the little non-machinable stamps that I showed you a minute ago, these right here. Okay, so you can purchase those. You can purchase them singly. You can purchase like a little page like I do. So for 1 ounce or less, the one non-machinable stamp is plenty. Okay, you don't need a machinable stamp and a regular stamp as long as it is under 1 ounce, or well, 1 ounce or less. Anything over an ounce, up to that 3.5 max, you're gonna need one of these and one of these. Now, if you wanna do the exact cost, then you would need to go into your post office. They would probably charge you one of these and make you do the 49-cent additional surcharge for non-machinable. And that's where, you know, they print out those little sticky stickers, the little bar-coded type stamps, and they go in the corner. These are so much cuter. But anyway, if it's over an ounce, less than 3.5, then one of these and one regular would be sufficient. And again, I would double check with my local post office there to make sure that they don't have, you know, different policies or procedures, or the prices didn't change, etc. And I have then put this into the description below, so you can print your own. And all I will say is that this is based on my extensive experience and my current information as I know it. And this is always subject to change based on the policies and requirements by the local post office in your area. Okay, so let's talk about how I handle my mail. So what I mean by bendable, I'm just gonna show you a couple of, like, this is like a regular everyday card, right? There is no dimension, there's no embellishments, there's nothing, okay? And this is bendable, like this, okay? And my postal guy, he actually will bend my cards. He also will run them through this if they seem a little thick to him, but this would be fine. That would be one stamp, wouldn't worry about that. This one here, it is slightly thicker, but I have weighed it and it's close to an ounce, but not quite. Again, this one is bendable. Maybe not as bendable as this one, but it is bendable. I would get away with one stamp for that one. This one here, now this is a square card. What I can do is take this square card and I can put it inside of, I can just fold a piece of paper if I want to, but I can just stick it right in here in this A2 envelope. And even though my card is square, okay, now it's a little rigid. So this is a problem with that. So because it is rigid and it's not bendable, this one here would need the non-machinable stamp, okay? Then I have this one here. Now this one, it is very bendable. It does have some very flat embellishments, and then it has this right here. I don't know if you can see that. So that right there. What I would do, more than likely, if I were mailing this card, I would plop that in an envelope, and a lot of times if I have embellishments, I will stick a piece of copy paper on top of this card and then seal it up and then stick it through here. And I want to go to that thick part, okay? This one right here, I can pretty much tell you this is probably just about an ounce. This is 7/10 of an ounce, so this is good. And you know, it is bendable. It's a little thick right here. And I think as long as I had a piece of paper here, as long as it, you know, is pretty bendable, I can get away with one stamp. This one here, now this one, I have a little bee. It doesn't stick up very much. I mean, that little bee is not very thick. However, this is not bendable. This is also rigid. So this card right here, I would need to have that hand canceled. As well as this one here. Obviously, this one is very bumpy. Okay, so all of those elements right there. This one's very bumpy, and of course it's very intricate, so I would want a non-machinable stamp for that one. And then finally this one here. So this one is unique because I have elements hanging off of the card itself. So if I were going to mail this card, what I've done here is I took a card. These are these little bags. You can get them at Amazon. I usually get them at Michael's. They're pretty cheap. I put it in, and obviously this doesn't go to the bottom. And then up here at the top, I just have it hanging over to protect those leaves right there. So this is protected. And you can always use these inside of an envelope if you're worried that your card needs a little extra protection. But this right here would go in a regular envelope. All right, it meets the thickness requirement, so that's perfect. And then the last test would be bendable. It's just too delicate, and I would hate for it to have a bunch of creases when the recipient opened it. So this one here, even though it is well protected, that would be non-machinable. Okay, so we have made stickers. We have talked about a mailing bin, and we have talked about the different type of cards that I typically mail, and whether or not they meet the requirements for mailing with a regular stamp or they require a non-machinable stamp. I really hope that this information has been helpful to you. And don't forget, down in the description, I have this PDF linked so that you can also print this out. Just remember that if you're not sure, please go into your post office counter and have them help you with the postage for your letter. And then as far as the thickness guide right here, I hope that you are able to make one of these for yourself on your Cricut. That'll be very, very helpful. I do recommend laminating it for longevity, but I hope that you found all of this information very helpful. I'd love to know your thoughts on this entire system, and so let me know down in the comments what you think. All right, well, until I see you in the next card or craft, as always, have an amazing day and happy crafting.
Thank you all so much for watching today. I'm so glad that you can join me at my craft table. If you're not already, I'd love to have you as a subscriber, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you'll know when new videos arrive. Have a great day, and as always, happy crafting.